Good afternoon, Grizzlies, and welcome back to KMRG and another bi-weekly news video magazine. I'm AJ, and have you ever thought about the importance of learning cybersecurity? Let's tune in and see what Miss Andrews, a teacher here at Mesa, has to say.
I'm Angela Andrews. I've been teaching here for 5 years. Before that, I taught at Falcon for 10 years. And before that, I taught at Colorado Technical University for 3 years. Before that, I was a student for a long time. But I came to teaching accidentally, but I love it. And I don't think I'll ever do anything else again. And I plan on teaching till about 2033. This is my 15th year teaching public school. In fact, I'm working really hard to try not to teach math anymore and teach nothing but computer science. My favorite part about computer science is problem solving, because I love getting a challenge and then trying to figure out how to make it work. You know what, I have to say the thing that I have loved the most was the day you guys made the binary devices and tried to expand them up to 4 bits. That was fabulous. Computer science is a great jump off point for a lot of different clubs, and I host 2 that are particularly about that. The first one is Cyber Patriot. Cyber Patriot is really about cybersecurity. What we do is we get systems from the Air Force that have been compromised, and it is our job to fix those compromises so that they can't be hacked. In the Coding Club, we're working with Arduinos, which are little circuit boards, and we're going to be making light arrays and programming lights and having a lot of fun doing that, with a competition against the rest of the district in May, and then I also believe against the high schools in the rest of the city also.
I gotta say, Miss Andrews is a good teacher. I haven't personally known her, even though this is like my first year taking computer science. She's a good teacher. She lets us do what we want on computers, but with the monetization, it's really good.
Like, she's a good teacher, but, well, that's about it. She's a good teacher. But I think her teaching styles, well, it's different. And because normally you get kids turn to page XYZ and read about this and explain. That's generally like how most other teachers that teach, am I right? But Ms. Andrews teaches more like, alright, but here's what you're doing. Here's a worksheet that talks about what you only see. Now go explore. And that's about it.
Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of KMRG? If so, it's your lucky day. Connor Johnson has this look behind the scenes into what's happening with KMRG.
Okay, KMRG is actually the 5th class in the filmmaking course curriculum. There's filmmaking 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, they have to be very good writers. One of the things that you are is you're a news reporter, you are a journalist, and so we are moving in the direction of trying to turn KMRG, instead of from announcements, into KMRG news. So they need to be able to write well and write stories, just like it says. So it's like almost like newspaper articles, but it's for obviously a video. So we are always recording our announcements the day before. We record at the beginning of block 4. The editors get it by mid-block 4, and then they have it done by the end of block 4.
KMRG has been really fun. We mostly just hang around. It's a bunch of friends hanging around. Let's do call.
Well, this will be my second year doing KMRG because I did the full year last year, and we're like a month into school right now, so I guess a year and a month.
That's bad grammar.
But scientists wonder about the public's reaction if they discover if there was or is life on the red planet. NASA chief scientist doesn't think.
Well, that depends on what you're good at, because for me, editing is where I lack a lot. So if I'm making a video, or back when we used to do the anchors, edited the announcement, that was one of my biggest struggles. But I know some people, who struggle with anchoring and struggle with writing reports.
You guys recording yet?
Not yet. I have to edit a note.
Martin. I used to be called.
Mac cornered me in the hallway during my drama class. He saw on one of the televisions that I was in Winter Guard that year, and he went, "What are you doing besides marching band?" And I went, "Probably nothing. I might do some theater out of class." And he went, "Stay here." And then he just came back with a pamphlet for KMRG. He was like, "You should sign this."
If you're gonna say something, make it worthwhile.
I wasn't really listening to
Keep going.
NASA's chief scientist doesn't.
Well, this year we actually have an editing team of 4 people, and there's 6 live people. So the live people actually record, write, and produce basically the videos. So we anchor in them, we have somebody on camera, we have someone on teleprompter. We don't really do the editing this year. That's for the 4 editors that AJ is in charge of.
Living on your own, doing your own thing, and paying your own bills sounds awesome, right? Well, ideally, living by yourself and being in a relationship are both things we have to do at some point. In this next video, Tyler McConnell introduces us to a new face at Mesa Ridge, Mr. Moore, who has begun working this year and teaches these respective classes.
So this is my first year at Mesa Ridge, and I moved here late July, so I guess I started at the beginning of August. So about like a month and a half, couple months.
Oh, let's see. We just met right before school started. He was a hire. He was hired not too long before school started this year, and so we met probably at some of our first meetings when we came back to school this year.
Yeah, so I'm a part of FCCLA, which is the after-school program that's associated with Family and Consumer Sciences, which is the content of what I teach. So yeah, we're not super busy yet, but later in the year we'll have some competitions and other things that bring us together a lot more frequently, so yeah. So I teach Singles Living, which is a class centered around preparing you for life outside of high school. So you're going to be searching for a job, some nutrition and things of that matter that are really going to set you up for success after high school and while in high school. And then I also teach relationships and marriage, and that class is primarily focused on the issues, the day-to-day issues of those that are in a relationship. So we talk about teen relationships, we talk about communication between you and your parents, you and your peers, you and your inner self, things like that. So we just are really focusing on becoming self-aware communicators. And then also I teach a speech class, which is a very traditional class, so you can kind of assume what would be taking place in there, but basically we are just focusing on our public speaking skills and trying to improve those and get us really ready for, life after high school. So if you don't know me, I moved here, like I said, late July. Me and my wife did. So we were kind of looking for a change of scenery, wanted to get out of Missouri, and this place is pretty awesome. The mountains are great. The weather is a lot more arid than it is back home, so I don't miss the humidity at all. I feel like I get to be outside a lot more. I really like that.
One thing I know about him is he's a dancer and has a lot of background in theater and ballet and all different types of dance, and has an interest in maybe doing something with that here. So that could be a really interesting addition to Mesa Ridge and to what we can offer our students.
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of hobbies. I played volleyball ever since I was a little kid, and I have coached that for about 6 years. So I love to play volleyball, if that's recreationally or competitively. Either one is fine as long as I get to play. I like to play music, so I do sing, and I occasionally write music. I like to play the piano. I like to be outside. I love to hike, so that's something that I try to do every weekend. And I have my dogs to bring along with me, which I'm really excited about. I enjoy hanging out with them. I like going on road trips. I like camping. Pretty much any experience that involves people and the outdoors, I'm down for. So I have 2 dogs. They are both miniature Australian Shepherds. One is named Willow, one is named Luna. They're near the same age. One's a rescue, one is not. But they're both super sweet. They do have an unlimited source of energy, so that keeps my hands full, especially whenever I'm gone at work all day. They have all that built up energy for me when I get home. But they're great dogs. I love them a lot, and I'm super happy to have them out here with me.
Oh, I am really excited to have him here. He, first of all, he just has a great personality. He is interested in everything that we're doing. He's going to be a great support for FCCLA as a co-sponsor, and he has a lot of varied interest that he's going to bring to our program, as well as maybe to activities outside the program. I know part of his background in his student teaching, because this is his first full-time teaching position, but he had a lot of experience with culinary and with foods like I teach, and he also has really good experience with clothing and textiles. We don't teach that here now, like fashion design, but there's a possibility in the future that we might be able to bring in something like that, and he has a good background in those areas. So he brings some skills that may help us to build our program, add more courses in the future, and so I'm excited about what he can bring to our program and offer students here.
Have you ever thought that your military friends have it easy? Not so fast. After asking a handful of military families, we found some insight on military families brought to us by Indica Odom.
My name is Manny, I'm 14 and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Tim, I'm a freshman and I'm 14.
Being in a military family is weird since we're constantly moving and it's hard to create constant connections.
Being in a military family is hard, but it can also be pretty easy at times because once you get moved in, you're comfortable, and then you move.
Okay, one pro, military discount. Another is experiencing new things that other people would never have the chance to. The biggest con would be constantly moving since you never get to stay in the same place for more than 5 years tops and you leave everything behind.
The pros are that you get to go see all these different places, and cons, when you're moving and you don't get to make that many friends because you know that you're just gonna move.
Since my dad was in the military, it has influenced me in careers, but personally I don't think I would join the military just because it's hard on the family.
I don't think I would ever join the military because I want to have a family when I grow up, and I don't think that's possible.
The most common misconception I've heard is that military kids cannot establish connections with people, which is completely wrong. We do establish connections, it's just that we're kind of hesitant to it, especially when we're young, since we know we're going to move.
They get used to all the moving, like we don't get used to the moving.
The hardest part on my whole family overall is that it's just sad when you know you have to leave in the next few years and you're still going on talking with your friends knowing that you have to move.
The hardest part about being in a military family is the deployments, because my dad can be gone for a year or he can be gone for 4 years. So, yeah.
My name is Kelly Odom. I am a Chief Warrant Officer 3. Been in the Army for 20 years. I'm an automotive maintenance tech, and I'm also a mom.
My name is Martin Odom. I am a military spouse. I have been for 20 years. Father of the 3 and a grandfather.
Okay.
Being in a military family, it has its ups and downs.
Having a military family is a struggle sometimes because of the long hours and the hard work.
You have a lot of time away from your spouse, so you take on the role as a single parent. Your children get to miss their parents for years at a time. Been through 4 deployments.
It also has its benefits because I get to teach my children a good work ethic and know there are things in life that are worth fighting for.
My child to follow in his mother's footsteps as a soldier. I mean, if that's what he wanted to do, yes, I prefer he goes to college and then make that decision.
My preference would be for him to go to college, but if it was something that he really wanted to do, I would stand by him as long as he understood what the dangers were that went with it.
It does have its ups. You get to go a lot of places, you get to see a lot of places.
Common misconception that people have about military families is that the husband is the one in the military.
Common misconception about military families. People think we have a lot of perks, meaning all our medical's paid for, we get discounts wherever we go. But in all actuality, you have to take on all the sacrifices that we have to deal with also.
The hardest part about being in the military and having a military family is leaving.
The hardest part about being in a military family is when your spouse gets deployed and you have to raise your children by yourself and worry about your soldier at the same time.
Thank you so much for tuning into our weekly news video magazine. Remember, if you have any questions or story ideas, email us at kmrg@wsd3.org and check out our Instagram and Snapchat at kmrg.grizzlies. Thank you again and have a great rest of your day, Mesa.